Good morning to everyone, and good evening to the folks from Silicon Valley. I'm very happy to be speaking to you at this very, very special occasion for the Indus School and the Indus Startup School launch. Um, you know, if you look back and see how things have changed very, very quickly around us, my father had one career and one job throughout his entire life. I, on the other hand, had one career but multiple jobs, sometimes working for a large corporate and sometimes working for myself. But still, it was just one career. What you as students will have is multiple careers, multiple jobs, both as people working for someone else or creating jobs for other people. I think the one fundamental thing that you will begin to see as you launch your careers after school, after college, is that you will actually be problem solvers because things are changing so rapidly that your ability to depend on external factors to provide you this the opportunity to build a career, take up a job, create financial stability is going to rapidly change. So the entire responsibility of your career, of your job, and of your ability to create financial stability will rest completely on you. And therefore, what is important for that? Your ability to solve problems. Your ability to solve problems because you are learning from the outside. As Kumar just mentioned, you listen to customers, you don't tell the customers what to do. So you're constantly listening to the external factors and figuring out what are the opportunities, what are the problems that you need to solve for. And that's what you optimize for. And in the process, if the problem is large enough, you are going to be bringing in multiple organization and therefore become job creators. So as you look at job creators, usually the visual that comes to your mind is of a very hard negotiating businessman, a dealing kind of a businessman. That's what we've been portrayed to, in movies and books and stuff like that. But indeed, if you look around, we have our own Narayan Murthy here in Bangalore, or Kumar in Silicon Valley, or Vish Mishra that was mentioned. If you look at them, or even our own Ambika, who is on this call, and Amit Somani, who is on this call, they are not necessarily the wheeling, dealing businessmen, but they are fundamentally problem solvers. They are actually taking the hairiest of the problems and solving them. And therefore, in that process, creating, jobs for other people. And that is, I think, a unique opportunity that each and every 42 of you have available to you at this point in time. What better way to get started on that process right away in school? I think this is fantastic the way the Indus School has conceived this idea and begun to create that mindset for you early on in your education. Now, when you start talking about problem solving, what does that mean? It means that you are, of course, identifying very, very interesting problems to solve, be it in a very commercially viable space, which is what most of the startups talk about. But India also is replete with multiple social and other problems, which is what Muhammad Yunus talked about, right? So there is so much of that that can be done. It doesn't necessarily mean that the startups that you build are going to only create, great valuation, attract venture capital, and so on and so forth. It could also be one that just is profitable, sustainable, and doing a fantastic job in its own way, or solving a very, very large social problem. And that's absolutely fine. In fact, if you go back to a couple of centuries ago, India was the highest GDP contributor to the world for several centuries at a time. Why? Because fundamentally, we were problem solvers. We had that in our DNA, not just in the large cities, as you see today, but also across the districts and the villages across India. So, for that reason, I feel that it is important to first identify the problem, and information is becoming very, very easy to access. You can go to Google, search. There's a lot of material, so it's not something we can teach you the information or the knowledge, because we don't know what problems you are going to be solving. But what I have seen is that not only is the Indus School talking about creating this Indus Startup School, but they also are bringing in robots into the classrooms. What do robots do? They don't know what problem you're going to solve, but they will make sure that you have the information, you have the knowledge that is necessary to solve that problem. And therefore, I hear that there is going to be at least 5 robots that are going to be in the 3 schools once the new normal sets in. And technology, as General Ray pointed out, is also going to become quite handy and commonplace to all of you. There is cloud, there is AI, there is various technologies that is easily available to you as tools and methods through which you can solve these problems. So, taking all this into consideration, it is now incumbent on each and one of you to take this opportunity to learn how to learn, because that's what I think you can take out of this. Will you be taking out a great startup that will be funded by one of our VC friends here on the call or outside? Maybe not, or maybe you will. But even if you don't, what you will fundamentally take away is that mindset of entrepreneurialism to take on the responsibility of solving some of the biggest problems that we are faced with, and in the process, impacting several people and potentially creating enormous economic value for yourself and all the other people who came in on with the journey with you. So I think it's a very, very unique initiative that Indus School has taken on. I've been with Indus since the second year of its life, with my 2 older boys being part of it. Now they're in the US. My third son is still at Indus, and I continue the journey with Indus. And I'm very happy to see the convergence of what was very, very important for my son's lives and my life now coming together, converging at this Indus School. Very happy to see this. I congratulate the trustees of Indus School. I congratulate General Ray for the vision that he has created for this. And Aman described it as a moonshot. Indeed, it's a moonshot. I don't see any other school anywhere in the world having done this. I used to run Microsoft for startups across the world. I've not seen any school in any of the geographies doing this. And I also congratulate the principals and the staff of all the 3 schools across India for having taken on this initiative. And I wish you all the best. I wish you all the 42, the special 42, the very best. You guys are going to make it a path-breaking, you know, uh, program for Indus, and therefore showing other kids in Indus who are still going through this journey that there is indeed a role model where you not only were great students of Indus, but also came out with becoming entrepreneurs and innovators yourselves. So again, thank you very much, and congratulations to all of you to having made this, and thank you very much again.